Welcome back to Good Moms, Bad Choices. I'm Erica.
And I'm Jamila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's an author now, bitch. She said Jamila.
It's my full name.
Wow. Hi, Jamila.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
I think you met me as Jamila.
I did, and then you said Mila on the podcast in our first episode, and I was fucking confused.
I felt like it was a good time to reinvent myself.
And then also some of your friends called you Jamila.
You know, living in a white space, I've been Jamila for many, many years, from teachers and peers, but my name is Jamila, hence Mila.
Jamila Asada Map.
Wow, you're just going to give my government to the people. Great.
Jam.
I was named after a Black Panther, Asada. So, yeah, I have a powerful name. And Jamila means she who struggles.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why
No, Jamila means beautiful in Arabic. Asada means she who struggles. But I was named after a Black Panther who escaped prison, gave birth in prison, and then escaped and lived somewhere in Cuba. So it's pretty badass.
The beautiful one who struggles?
Yeah.
And rises to the motherfucking occasion.
Let's add that because
she takes the map. She finds her way. Always.
Always, no matter what. Even I feel like I've graduated out of the struggle. That's why I dropped the ja.
Apparently, Erica is a Scandinavian name, and it means leader.
Scandinavian.
I know.
The people you love.
I love them so much.
You love when I speak to you in Russian.
Oh.
They're not Scandinavian. I feel like Russian Scandinavia.
Jamila tries to, like, when, I don't know, it always comes out at weird times when she's like, disidu,
disida.
And I'm like, but shut the fuck up. Like, I don't talk to me in Russian.
Everybody else understands. Luna understands. She's the only one who
Because she lives in your home.
There's only certain words I say in other languages. I say see a lot and I say idisida. I don't know. I have a lot of weird.
I think I'm triggered because I went to Russia once and I had a very racist experience multiple times.
I'm not surprised.
So when you as a beautiful black woman are speaking to me in Russian, I'm like, why, God?
I grew up with a lot of different friends, and one of which is very Russian. And in her household, there's certain words that I heard often that are Russian. So and I also say close the light. I say like foreign things sometimes. I don't know why. It's
close the light, like turn it off?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. It's strange.
Okay, well, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm tan.
You are tan. I'm a little tan too. It's a nice, seamless golden sun kiss. I would flash a titty, but
it's gorgeous. You look beautiful. We are fresh off a trip, so I'm trying to maintain my tan. Last night yesterday morning, I woke up and went and laid out in my backyard to make sure that I am maintaining this tan because I refuse to go back. I realized that I'm much more beautiful tan. I also look skinnier tan. I looked at myself naked in the mirror this morning. I was like, bitch, what the fuck? You fine as hell. And I was like, nothing changed between last week and this week. You didn't lose or gain any more weight. You just got tan.
Well, don't worry. We're about to be tan all summer because we are going to be in the sun all summer. Retreating. I have our retreat. I have a tantra retreat. I've been doing a lot in Mexico. You know what? When I come back, I'll say, what am I trying to say?
Oh no!
Hopefully
nothing. Hopefully, thank God. I was like, hopefully nothing. We're fucking Russian.
I'll be Spanish when we come back.
Speaking of retreats, guys, our retreat is coming up in Sayulita, Mexico. So if you haven't booked the trip, what the fuck are you waiting for? There's still a few spots available. You can have a solo room. You can share a room with a friend or get to know somebody else. We're taking up over an entire property, as we always do.
The only way to do it.
The only way to do it, and it's a beautiful experience. If you're looking for the turn up, if you're looking for the healing experience, if you're looking for your sisterhood, if you're looking for just beautiful new experiences that you probably would never do here, this is the place.
Looking for luxury, and if you're looking for a way back to yourself, this is the way.
Make sure you go follow The Good Vibe Retreat or click the link in this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in that episode description. If you're listening, it's in that episode description. It's the Good Vibe Retreat. We're also offering you guys a $500 discount right now when you use code MEDITATE. So make sure you tap into that. And
$500, goddamn. It's a big discount.
It is. And that brings me to our guest.
Talking about being skinny and looking beautiful.
As you know, it is Fine Zaddy June.
Not to be confused with Fine Daddy June. It's Fine Zaddy June.
Zaddy.
I don't know if that's a thing anymore, but clearly it is.
It is for us. I feel like if you're in your 30s, you still say Zaddy. I don't know what the new Generation X, is that what they're called or saying?
I don't know. I got to ask Tori. I was hanging out with Tori, my 25-year-old friend, our tribe member. She came to the office and hung out with me and Luna, and she was saying all types of cool words. I was like, God, I love having a young friend. Tell me more. What does that mean?
Well, today we have a friend of mine. I've been wanting him to come on the show since we met and he found out we had a podcast. He was like, I should be on your show. And I was like, the more I got to know him, I was like, you know what? You do need to be on the show. You be dropping gems all day long. Six Pack City, the actor, the celebrity trainer, the man of
Many wise phrases.
epic wise phrases, a father himself. Did I say actor?
Yes.
He's like a man of mystery. And I'm just so happy to have you on the show so you can drop some gems to our people. So
I don't even know what to say. That was a prodigious introduction.
See,
what
the fuck is a prodigious?
What you just did. Very grandeur in nature. Okay. That was very prodigious. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here because I've been wanting to come here for a while now. And I came to one of y'all live shows. And I've been hooked ever since. So being here is special for me because you are a friend, you are a client, and y'all are crazy. So a part of me, there's something inside of me that's telling me they got you now. You're trapped. Because I've been like, I don't know what to expect. There's a little beacon light flashing inside of me like, bro, you don't even know what you're in for. Because I know y'all are crazy, but I'm happy to be here nonetheless. But just so you know, something is telling me like, yo, you don't even know what you got yourself into. So I'm on guard.
Don't be on guard. This is a safe space.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, but still, y'all crazy. In a good way, but
we ain't crazy.
That's because you came to the show and you saw us act crazy that day.
Yes.
We do act crazy at the shows. So I could see where you can get that.
The amount of crazy that went on at the show, and it was a great, if you've never been to one of the live shows, and I'm a guy, and it's geared kind of towards women, but I'm a guy and I enjoyed 90% of it. 10% I didn't. You have to go to understand why. But 90% as a guy, and I was blown away because I didn't know what to expect. But I was like, oh, they crazy. It was entertaining all the way through though. And I have a very short attention span, and because of the frequency I vibrate on intellectually, it's hard to captivate me. But I was like literally like, oh. So yeah, I know y'all crazy.
Listen, we strive to give the women what they want in all spaces, at our shows, on this show, at our retreats, whenever, all the time. Because listen, we also have short attention spans. I don't even know how to have a podcast sometimes because when people start talking for too long about shit I don't care about, ask Jamila. Like I literally, it's just like zone out. I'm like staring, but I'm not listening anymore. I'm just kind of like thinking about all the things that I could be doing instead of listening to this bullshit.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am.
Yeah.
They accuse me like, you'll check out in the middle of a conversation. And I'm like, kind of.
I feel like I've adopted that from you.
Oh God, I'm
Because
sorry.
sometimes I'm like, fuck. I'm like, what did they just say? Fuck.
But it's a part of protecting your energy. When you discern like this conversation is not serving me any purpose, you just kind of.
That's what it is for me.
Like,
Because
you're
I'm
talking
like, girl, I am about to take on this energy that you're, or a boy.
Get it.
Yeah. So I'm like, da 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 do 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 do.
Well, we are here.
We are here.
We are here.
I'm very happy to have you here. I'm excited. When she first told me, like, we should have my trainer on, I was like, okay. But then I met you and I was like, you're right.
He's so much more than a trainer. He's like a motivational speaker.
I know.
Wow,
Inspirational life coach.
Well, yeah, that's why when we talked before we went on air, I'm like, I don't really know how to introduce me because I'm so multifaceted. But I believe everyone is. I don't believe that we only have one talent. That's not even logical. That's like a very immature, asinine, inane way of thinking. Because if you think about it, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're mad, sometimes you're freaky, sometimes you focus, sometimes you lackadaisical. Each one of those traits is connected to some type of talent. So depending on which one is more potent, you'll be good at whatever that talent is connected to. So, but we live in a society where they try to marginalize you. Like, wait, you sing. You're a singer. You can't also be a designer. Like, no, this is impossible. You're already good at singing. You can't be good at something.
Pick one.
They try to marginalize you, and sometimes we marginalize ourselves. We have self-imposed cages. But me, I tap into everything that I'm great at. When I leave this earth, I'm gonna die on empty. I won't have anything left. I'll be like, God, I used everything you gave me. I'm gonna die on empty. Everything he gave me, I use. So I'm multifaceted, and the things that I'm not good at, I hire other people to do it for me.
Amen.
Amen.
I believe in that shit.
My grandma told me, sleep when you die. And I was like, that's a good quote. because there is, and I agree with that so much because the world will tell you can only do one thing, and then if you'll fuck yourself believing that bullshit, and and even like for a long time I didn't like telling people like I'm a podcaster because there's so many podcasts, but like nah, bitch, I do a lot of shit,
Right.
and I'm good at a lot of shit, and you're not going to tell me otherwise because I've done it. So I appreciate you embarking on all of your talents and inspiring others to do the same, because I think people lack the motivation and the confidence to just,
You better. Y'all, you want to know what the richest place on earth is? Do you know? You want to know?
Dubai?
What? You want to know?
Yeah.
The richest place on earth is the cemetery.
How so? Explain.
You know how many people died with great ideals that went right in that grave? That didn't act on them. You know how many people died with great ideals?
That's my biggest fear. That has always been my biggest fear.
Do not die with great ideals.
That scares me more than doing it.
Use. So a lot of people don't know that cemetery is the richest place. That you know how many people die with great ideals. So for me, if God put it in me, like I said, we multifaceted. Like we are 4 and 5 dimensional, not even 3 dimensional, because every part of your personality has a talent attached to it. You get what I'm saying? So all you have to do is focus long enough to tap into that, and then you'll be able to toggle back and forth and put on these hats. So, but I believe we all have that ability if we tap into it in an environment that allows us to cultivate it. So I don't think I'm special in that regard, in a different regard, but not in that regard, because I believe we are multifaceted. I'm just brave enough to not give a fuck what nobody thinks.
And you also have friends that encourage you to do that. Because if you have friends who are like, oh, it's like, you can only do this one thing. Or like, are you doing that now? Oh, okay. You always have to have friends who encourage you.
Yeah, but that's dangerous, because you're not going to always have friends. You're not going to always, your mama not going to encourage you all the time. And you have to learn how to be self-sustained. You have to be so omnipotent from the inside that you insulate yourself from the bullshit. You have to have a knowing. Because if you live for the claps, you're going to die with the booze. You get what I'm saying? So, and your friends are like, think about it. It's unfair. Because a lot of people are like, my friends don't support me. I got a biz, my friends don't support my biz. My friends don't come to my show. And if you think about it, that's really unfair. Because everybody, I don't care if you 2 or 92, everybody got a great ideal. And most people don't even act on their own great ideal. So you want somebody who's not acting on their own great ideal to come support your ideal, you being selfish and stupid. They're not supporting their own shit. You don't think they have an ideal? They just ain't shit. Yeah, they do. They too scared. So don't expect someone that won't move on their own shit to move on yours and then use that to judge the metrics of y'all relationship. Be self-sustained. Because if I tap you in to come on a financial journey with me, like, hey, we're going to do this, and you don't do it, that's cool. Just know I'm still going to do that ideal. And when I make my money, I'm not going to feel bad about not sharing nothing with you.
Because you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm still going to do everything I said I was going to do, whether you get involved. And I'm not even going to take it personal, because I don't want you to take it personal when I become successful.
I think they say that in the 4 agreements. It's like, don't take like compliments too personal, and don't take what's the opposite of a compliment?
Insults.
Haterations. Take it too personally either. It's just like you said, be self-sustained, and that's a fact, because there will be both, and they may come from people close or far from you.
Well, I think that also waiting on friends to validate you, waiting on friends to make you move, to do things, you'll be waiting forever. Low key. Like once you start making those moves and once you start believing in yourself, those people will come.
Right.
Those people will come and you'll attract those people. I mean, I think about even just like our retreats, how we get so many messages where people are like, I want to come, but my friend, I'm waiting on my friend. I'm like, your friend gonna have you waiting forever, and you're gonna miss out on this experience.
Right.
Your friend will have you waiting out on money. Your friend will have you waiting on opportunities, all types of shit. You kind of just have to count on yourself and just move forward. And all the other, those friends that you really want will inevitably come.
Yeah, they will come flock to you. If I would have waited, there's 2 things I don't do. I don't hate on nobody. I don't wait on nobody.
I like that.
Period.
I don't hate on nobody. I don't wait on nobody. So wait, because I feel like you talking affirmations.
She's funny.
And we always share an affirmation, usually at the top. We try to do it at the top of the show, but this week we're going to do it at the top of the show, because I feel like you are a walking affirmation.
Well, thanks.
So if you have an affirmation that you can share with our tribe.
I'll share an affirmation and an incantation.
What's an incantation?
An incantation is something like a chant that you would do.
Okay.
I love an
like a
incantation.
spell.
Oh, you know
We
we
know
love
we love spells over
spells
here.
here.
So
Two witches.
two witches. Another way of saying spell is an incantation. It's something seance that you would say or you would do and put into the universe. So I'll give you an affirmation, and both I happen to live by. First, the affirmation that I live by completely is, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands.
If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands.
I believe that.
Right now, I'm sitting inside of y'all thoughts. This was a thought before it came to life.
Yeah.
If you can see, but you saw it already. If you see, you got to speak what you seek till you see what you said.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can see it, and she's like, wait.
You got to speak what you see until you...
No, listen. You got to speak what you seek till you see what you said.
You got to speak and... Wait.
You got to speak what you seek
till you see what you said.
Okay.
You got to speak what you seek till you see what you said. Because if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. You know, I come from nothing. I had a very impoverished, tumultuous upbringing, but I was able to climb my way out of that through changing my mentality.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Watts, California. The projects.
Mm-hmm. So what was your mindset then, and what was the journey, I guess, to changing your mindset?
Well, my mindset then was, you know, and I didn't in that moment I didn't know that I was a tyrant. I was a menace. I was bellicose, boorish, and belligerent, but I didn't know that. Like, it was just, I was just dropped off in that environment. I woke up in that environment.
What's
like,
bellicose?
Bellicose is like somebody that's eager to fight. When you bellicose, it just means somebody that's eager to fight, want to argue all the time, that's a bellicose person. But I was bellicose, boorish, and belligerent. But I didn't know that because it was just the environment that I grew up in, and it was normalized. That's all I knew. I never been beyond that. You get what I'm saying? And especially running around in the projects and having a bunch of friends in the projects being in there, you inherit that spirit. And I didn't want to be broken. I didn't want to be poor. And I didn't want to be picked on. So I did whatever I had to do. And most of the time, those things weren't great things. I wasn't a good person. You know what I mean? So when I look back on that, you know, most of the time I'm embarrassed of the way I used to be, because a fish don't see water. I didn't know no better. But I've forgiven myself and freed myself from that, because I just did what I had to do. In the jungle early in the morning, there's a deer running from a lion. You follow the story. There's a deer running from a lion. The deer is saying, please, God, don't let them eat me. The lion is saying, please, God, let me feed my family.
Right.
Different prayer, same God. So when I was in that situation, I was a lion. And I just wanted to feed my family. But it was somebody else like, hey, dear God, you know what I mean? But changing my mentality and tapping into my spirituality is what got me to understand there's a better way to do things. And there's a higher being than what I am and what you are. And we have to answer to that higher being, whether you believe in it or not. That's cool, whatever you want to believe in. But I changed my mentality because I wanted to change my circumstances. So to change your circumstances, you got to change your circle. Period. The only difference between poverty and prosperity is what you know. So you look at your closest friends, what do you know? You know what club is popping. You know when Macy's is having a sale. You know how to find your ex-nigga new bitch house. You know, that's what you know. But you don't know nothing about an IRA, trust funds. You don't know how to file for a proper S corp. You don't. So that we get hurt by the things we don't know. We don't know.
It's interesting. I think not a lot of people can say, I used to be a bad person. You know, a lot of people are unwilling to categorize themselves in that way, but you're so self-aware. I'm wondering, like, what was it that shifted your mindset? Was there like a grandiose event that happened that you're like, let me sit the fuck down? Was there a conversation? Was there someone you met? Like, what was
it's
this
a collection of things for all of us. I don't think I'm unique in that way, but I walked this. I was in these streets for real. Like this, so I can't not say I was a bad person because it's documented who I was and what I did. And I always pair that with who I am now, because it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I ran around in the projects, but now I live up in the mountains in a big ass house that I built from scratch. No, I didn't have a mother that was there. My mother was on drugs, so I was about 25 years old. And no, I didn't have a father. But I am a father. And I still take my responsibility serious. No, I didn't go to college, but everybody who works for me did. You don't need a college degree to start your own business, but you need one to go work with somebody else. So my life is just a representation. Like, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. And at any moment, you can extricate yourself from poverty, pain, plight, and trauma. You could just say, I'm not doing that no more. And as soon as you say, I'm not doing that no more, I'm not that person no more, you're free. And no one can hold you prisoner to a past persona of yourself. As soon as you stop, you're free at that moment. So it don't matter, because as soon as people see you doing good, they start bringing up shit from 2012. This motherfucker doing good. I remember when you was a hoe.
I know.
I just know how to hide it now from y'all. Because privacy is currency. I'm happy still. So I walk in my truth because I don't care. I live in my calling, and you don't have to understand. It wasn't a conference call.
It was a one-on-one.
Yeah, my calling wasn't a calling, ain't for you. You get what I'm saying? So just being able to live long enough, man. I can't talk about most of the things that I've done still to this day, but there's a few friends still living, and we catch up every now and again and just be like, man, we here. Like, we lived long enough to grow gray hair, because a lot of my friends did not live. Yesterday was my brother's birthday. He got killed in 1997. Been 26 years and still like it was yesterday. You get what I'm saying? And my big brother, he was in these streets. He's a reputable. But I'm not going to even tell you, where he was from and all that, but he was a reputable. But to me, he was just my brother. So losing him was like losing my father, because I was the only father I knew. So it grew me up quick. I was about 14. So it grew me up quick. You know what I mean? I went from having 2 blood brothers to just being in these streets by myself, because in the same year my big brother was murdered, my little brother went and did like 8 years. So my little brother was like 13, and he went and did 8. So I went from having 3 of us figuring it out to just me. So I got out here and I hit the ground running, and anything I do, I did it for real. So when I was in these streets, I was in it for real. I ain't never bully nobody, I ain't never pick on nobody. But if something came my way, I was the lion. And that's how I survived, because where I'm from, you can't have no chinks in your armor and survive. That's why a lot of my friends didn't. But also, you can't be a bully. I knew some dudes that was a bad motherfucker. I knew some bad motherfuckers. Like, I had some beefs at times where I was literally scared to leave my house. For real. Like, real beef. This ain't like now where you got these keyboard thugs. And this was a different era. And, but I held my shit. You know what I mean? But I seen them people ain't here no more. So bullies get killed, and people who do too much get killed. You know how smart you got to be to do just enough to survive and not too much to go to jail, end up paralyzed and dead? You got to almost be a genius. That's why I'm over here and I can excel. I can soar. I can fly, because people over here can never survive what I went through, but I can survive this. Oh, the IRS sending me a letter. I made too much money. Cool. I had killers at my door.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, anytime I ask Six, like, how you doing? Like, he's always looking at me like, what you mean? Like, what the fuck do you mean? How am I doing?
Because life is
great.
Life is good. Like BO25P34. I'll never forget it. That was my case number. I was on GR. $220 of food stamps and $180 a month that I had to make stretch. And I grew up on GR, and even as an adult was homeless, and because it was just part of the culture I was with. And I remember when I decided I wasn't gonna do it no more, and I just made it. I heard a voice, but we all hear that voice. Your voice tell you what to do, and you ignore it. You disrespecting your own divinity. But I heard a voice like, you got to stop, and I was like, stop doing. But I had already heard voices before that. I done been in some violent situations where I almost lost my life, and you bargain with God. You sitting there bleeding from the neck, you dying, literally dying. You making all kind of bargains.
God, this is the last time. I swear to God.
Yeah, yes, I swear to God, to God. I swear to God. Right? But so I made all kind of bargains and all kind of things to get myself out of jams. You in them handcuffs. You like, God, please help me. And, but I had already had a voice tell me, to stop selling dope. So then, I was like, all right, God, I guess, whoever telling me to do this, let's see what happened. So I'm on GR. Then I heard a voice like, you got to get off of this shit. And I'm like, well, I ain't selling dope. So I got to just be broke? Like, well, what I got to do? And then the voice just said, did it. And I just adhered to that voice. But then, and I hate to just jump around, but I'm trying to impart a lot of knowledge in a short amount of time for your listeners. We all have choices and little windows of opportunity that come floating by over and over again. I'm in my 40s, and I can say that with pride because I don't look like it, and I got shit to show for it. People who scared to say their age because they look better and they don't. I got shit to show. I'm good. But when I see somebody this old that's still struggling, I feel bad for them, not because they missed their opportunity, but because they never developed themselves, because opportunity don't come once. That's why I be like, yo, you suck at life. It wasn't like they missed one opportunity and for the rest of their life, Lamb, you miss your one. No, opportunity come over and over. So I'm like, yo, if you miss your opportunity in your 20s because you was young, and then your mid-20s because you was wild, and then your 30s because you was preoccupied with trying to clean up shit for your 20s. But I mean, every time this window floated by, you missed it. Because your opportunity, so for the people listening, opportunity always feels uncomfortable, random, and just sometimes grandiose, but all the time divine, and you jump through the window. So I just was like, all right, I'm going to just stop doing everything. And then I remember my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time, and I got to tell this short story. She came one night, I was at the trap house, because a lot of people that just now met me through online just now met me in this chapter. They don't know how bad all the other chapters was. So when they see me spoiling my wife, that's all you see. But let me tell you something. I remember I was at the trap house and I was sitting there. It was probably like 11:30, almost midnight at night. And then one of my homeboys was like, hey, I think your girl outside. And I was on my sidekick. Like, my girl ain't outside, because back then ain't nobody finna pop up on me, especially at no trap house. And she ain't tell me she was on her way. And he was like, yeah, I think that's her. I'm like, nah, that ain't her. He was like, nah, that's your girl. She got a silver Camry, right? And I'm like, yeah. So right when I said, I'm like, what the fuck she doing here after popping up on me? And she like, come outside. So in this era, I'm like, oh shit, what did she find out? Right? You popped up. I'm like, what the fuck did you find? Like, what? And I came around to her window and she was like, get in. And I was like, all right. I'm like, oh shit,
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I'm in trouble. So I get in the car and she started driving. I'm like, what the like, I'm very uncomfortable. And she was like, yeah. So long story short, she was like, yeah, I was just thinking, I don't want you over here anymore.
So I've just been thinking.
I've been thinking right now.
I was
midnight.
like, what? And she was like, yeah, I don't want you, in there no more. I believe in every one of your dreams, and I know you're doing this, so we could pay rent and we could do this and that, but I don't want you here anymore. I got a third job, and I don't want you to come back. I'm gonna work 3 jobs. And no one had ever done anything remotely close to that. Sidebar. At that point in my life, I didn't trust no woman because I had mother issues and didn't know, because I felt like the woman who should have loved me first didn't. So there was no way in hell any other of these bitches was ever going to love me. So I'm going to get my lick first. But anyway, so that blew my mind. I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah. So I left my sack. I called the homie and was like, yo, you give him? I was like, yeah. And I never went back. The next day.
That's all she had to say.
Yeah, she said, I'm going to hold you down. And she paid the rent. I was driving her car and so on and so forth. And she was like, just do what you got to do. Do your dreams. And she held us down. So now you fast forward, people who know me, and they like, yo, you built your wife a house. It's 2023 and my wife ain't bought her own car since 2005. Her last car was a Toyota Camry, and ever since then, she's been riding Maseratis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexuses, Benz, that I bought her. You know what I mean? I put 6 figures in her account. I built her a house from scratch, took her to the land. Where you want this house? And she, what? Yeah, where you want the house at? Point to a spot. But people don't understand like how she was there for me in those times. And I never forgot that. And I promise her, she'll tell you, I looked her in her eyes because I was fucking up too during that time. It's fast forward. Me and my wife been together 17 years and lived together 16. I remember at one point I was fucking up and I felt bad because I knew I wasn't living up to my I could tell in her eyes I wasn't living up to my potential. Like, and it was eating me that I felt like, damn, I think she's starting to stop looking at me as a man. And I remember I had a couple of dollars left and we went to this place called Picnic in the Marina. We lived in the hood. We lived in Hawthorne. And I remember I sat her down right there. Shit was going bad. And I was like, look, one day we're going to live in a neighborhood like this. And I took a, because she was sitting there just looking at me. And I said, I'm going to take a picture because we're going to remember this. I had a picture to this day because I told her, when I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to make you $1 million. I laid it out there and she just sat there and was quietly just listening to this fantasy. And I done everything that I told her I was going to do. But first I had to change my mindset. And then I had to get out of that environment that I was in that made me that way. I had to get out of that environment. I had to really get out of that environment. Some of y'all got to get out of that environment because your circumstances hinges upon your circle. But I bought change on a wholesale basis. I didn't just, some of y'all on that bitch ass change. I changed in little shit. You need to change on a wholesale basis. I stopped hanging with the people I was hanging with. I stopped picking up phone calls. I stopped going to I just stopped doing everything. Like, all right, I'm done with this. I can't go back over there. And it's important that you isolate when you're trying to elevate. You have to isolate. And a lot of people don't want to be alone because when you're alone and you at night, that's when you start really finding out who you are. And a lot of people, if you really want to know who you are and you really honestly audit yourself, you're probably not going to like who you are. And that makes people uncomfortable. So instead of sitting with their own thoughts, sitting in their own mess, realizing who they are and what they done, they'd rather go hit up an ex. They'd rather go do anything rather than be alone.
Because when you start to think and you're like, fuck, I don't really even like who I am.
Yeah.
That shit, when you make decisions, you're like, I don't even really like that person. That's not even something the person I say I am, really, that's not who I want to be. That shit is different.
It's hard and it hits hard and people can't stand it. So they abort the change and go back little by little. Now they still picking up that call, still dibbling, dabbling in that. But I suffered through it because I was alone because I don't want to be over there no more. And I don't fit in over here yet. So I had to, that's why I dubbed myself to unlearn, relearn specialist, because I had to unlearn everything over here to wipe my hard drive clean. Then I mean, I don't know shit. What grown up want to admit they don't know shit? It's hard pill to admit. But when you admit that, you're ready to learn because your ability to be successful hinges on your ability to learn, not your ability to teach. You have to be more of a sponge than a brick. So I wiped my hard drive clean. I don't fit in over here no more. You know when y'all want to know when you outgrowing your friends and situations, when you like, we talking about, when you saying to yourself, we talking about this again?
Yeah, we said it. I heard this shit already. I heard this
Who are you
story.
talking about? They talking about the same people doing the same
like,
shit.
Or when they call and you like,
I don't have energy for
and
that.
they like invite you somewhere and you starting to think, do I want to go in it? That's a sign. Go with it. And then commit. Isolation, rumination, elevation, extrication, germination. Look all those up. And that is the order that it going. Yeah, I'm dubbing you with a I'm not going to explain what none of that means. Upgrade your hard drive. For real. Play it back.
Rumination.
Plant the seeds.
She said, upgrade your hard drive.
Well, I think a lot of people too, like when they're doing the change, the isolation, like you said that, like, I didn't really fit over there yet. It's the yet that I feel like disillusions people. They're like, oh God, like people that want change but feel like I don't deserve to be in that room, or like they're corny,
or it seems so far. It seems so out of reach that you're like, it's almost easier to backtrack to where you've been and the people you've been with versus trying to change your circle and change your environment to get to where you're going.
Or you don't even want to, you've judged those people even though they are where you want to be. You've judged them as, corny, square, whatever the fuck it might be, white, whatever it is, and thinking that you can't see yourself in that space, nor do you really want to be in that space, but you want what they have. So it's like, okay, you want what they have, but you don't want to
Do the work.
Do the work to understand. You don't have to be exactly like that person. You're going to step into the space and be your own person.
Well, I believe most people know that, so it ain't even a matter of like I don't want. They just they think it's too far away. You got to have if you don't have honest conversations with yourself, you have to learn how to have honest conversations with yourself, because if you can't have an honest conversation with yourself, you're going to repel from honesty coming from others. So honestly, you're not like, I don't want to be that. You don't think you can. So instead of feeling bad about not being able to do it, quote unquote, you condemn it. You're like, I don't even want it. That's unnecessary. You don't need money. People tell me, man, money is what's more important, money or love?
Money's the root of all evil. No.
Shit like that to me. What's more important, money or love? What the fuck are you talking about? Money is important in the areas that is important. It's not important in the areas that is not important. What the fuck are you talking about? What's more important, your leg or your arm? Motherfucker, they both important in different ways. That's the stupidest shit ever. But that's your mentality. You condemn having money and you will never have it. Money is beautiful. Money is good, which leads me to my my incantation. I want you to repeat this, and I want you to repeat it with passion. I want you to say, money comes easily, money comes abundantly, and money comes frequently.
Money comes easily, money comes frequently, and money comes abundantly.
Boom. It just like that. You don't
I have
need
to do it again.
12
Money comes easily, money comes frequently, money comes abundantly.
Boom, and you believe it. All you got to do is speak it. And
I know.
People think they need these long incantations. You don't. You could be very succinct and direct, and the universe have to yield those things to you. So as long as you vibrate on that same frequency, the universe is always going to pair you with everything on that same frequency without your consent.
No, for sure. I mean, if you're doing broke shit, then you're going to get broke results.
Absolutely.
You know, if your frequency is broke, if your mindset is broke, if all these things, you know, like we talk about a lot about manifesting, and, you know, people are always like, oh, well, I did this, I did that. It's still not coming. And it's like, well, you got to check and see what is it that you're doing that is still vibrating on this other frequency that you don't want.
Right.
I want to go back to when you were talking about your wife and, you know, her pulling up and picking you up in that way. And
me too. I have some questions.
Well, I couldn't help but think of like the mother wound that you had, which was, you know, you thinking that a woman couldn't show up for you in that way. And then her kind of, I guess, healing that in ways, or beginning the healing process of you saying, okay, a woman can show up for me. A woman can take care of me. I can trust that this woman is going to show up and be what, you know, what I can be to her, and she can be that to me as well. And this idea that I mean, you have 2 daughters, and three. How old were you? How old is your first daughter?
22, 17, and a year and a half.
I can't help but think about why God gave you women with that notion that you had, you know, and just really having to understand that women can nurture you. They can love you. Even if it's in the form of a child, even if it's in the form of, you know, your wife.
You can trust them. They can be safe.
How old, where in your life were you when you had your first 2 children?
I was still in these streets.
Do you think that having your children was a catalyst, or was it not?
Yeah, but everything is a catalyst. There's something like everything. I hear the question.
Well, because some people use children like my child changed my life, and that's not always the case.
So a child is like money. It only amplifies what was already in you. Mm-hmm. If you was a deadbeat having a child gonna amplify that you was a deadbeat, lackadaisical, and unambitious. If you was an asshole and you get money, you're gonna be a bigger asshole. If you was benevolent, when you get money, you're gonna be even more benevolent. So does it play a role? Yeah, but what I'm trying to exclaim and really hammer home, so the people out there ain't looking for one thing. Like, I need that one thing. And it all works in concert for you. All that shit is working together. And only because a lot of things, even that I say and do now, and I realize, like, man, I had an OG tell me that shit before when I was 15. I've been hearing it. Just life got to water some of that shit. It got to water it so it could germinate. Mm-hmm. Life got to water, but you hearing these things, so you could use anything for motivation. So don't be waiting like I need a catalyst. Nah, just wanting it is enough. But all you have to do is commit to that change. And I committed to it. And it was hard. I want to make no, but life is hard, period. Not having shit and always wanting shit that you ain't gonna never have is hard. Working for the shit you want is hard. Both things are hard. So you might as well get in there, work for the things you want, commit to your change, because I don't chase, I attract. and I'm careful with my words. My vocabulary is vast because words have power. We all know that, but we don't all put that into practice, because if we did, we would all upgrade our vocabulary. Most people don't know. They only learned their first 300 words. Most people ain't never learned. They only know their first 300 words because after they left high school or college, they stopped educating themselves. They ain't learned nothing past what curriculum they had. Mm-hmm. So they're like, what word are you? You don't read, motherfucker? Seriously, when you first started school, they taught you your spelling words, right? Didn't they teach you how to spell? Mm-hmm. Think about what you're saying. Spell. Words cast spells. So the better the words, the better the spells you can cast. So that's why my vocabulary, because I'm always speaking in incantation. I come from a place of poverty. Now I live in abundance because these are incantation. I know words cast spells. So don't be like, yo, I'm chasing my dream.
No, I'm living the dream.
Yeah, even though that's to most people that's an innocuous statement. I'm chasing my dream. Well, the only way you can chase something is it moving away from you.
From moving away from you. Mm.
So you are casting a spell that the very thing you want is constantly moving away from you. Mm. Say I'm living my dream.
That it's running from you, right?
Yeah, say I'm living but I'm so aware of what I'm saying because words have power. Even if you go back to the Bible and you believe in that, it said God said, let there be light. He spoke, boom, and he spoke it. He created, he spoke it. And that same Bible say, hey, you created in my image, so anything I could do, you could do. So God could speak something and there it is, and you created in the same image, so can you. You just speaking the wrong things. You're speaking the wrong things. And you should be very careful and very weary of what you're listening to and what you're giving your attention to when you're trying to elevate. You have, because it's poisoning you. You might don't feel like it's poison. You eat all that candy as a kid. The kid don't understand they getting a cavity. They just go like, my teeth hurt. Yeah, all right. So it's the same thing. Some of y'all souls are rancid and have cavity because you sit up and gossip all day, or you complain. You complain about everything. I never complain, even if something is wrong, because I'm like, is it really wrong, or is it just information? Do God want me just to sit at home? Is that why I got 3 cars and all my tires are on flat? Fuck, all tires is on. God must be saying, I got bad luck. Like God was saying, sit home tonight, because if you go out, something is bad gonna happen. But I've always had that visceral instinct. That's how I survived my circumstances. I knew when to take my ass home. I knew when to be like, nah, I ain't going. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing. Nothing happens to us. It all happens for us when you tapped in. I'm proof of that. That's why I tell I'm omnipotent. I'm impregnable. You can't hurt me. You can't even shit on me. I use it as fertilizer.
I grow.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do with me. You can't break me because you didn't make me. So if ain't nobody helping you, don't feel bad. I don't got no help. I don't got nobody. Use that as power, because if they didn't make you, baby, they can't break you, baby.
And they can't take it when you get there.
Yeah.
You ain't help me do shit either way.
Yeah.
I'm here because of me.
Yeah.
When your wife pulled up on you that day and she told you what she told you, and she said, we're leaving, and you never went back, and she said, I believe in your dreams. At that time, what were your dreams? What, like, did you had a vision of where you wanted to be, and that we're going to live in a place like this, but did you know exactly what was going to be the catalyst to get you there? Like, were you into health and fitness at that point, or what were your goals at that time?
My goals was pretty much no flex, everything I'm doing now. And I think I would be remiss if I didn't tell y'all that the way you think you're going to get there probably ain't the way you're going to get there. It never happens how you think it's going to happen, but it happens. And everything that happens has to happen because it's giving you a set of intangibles you're going to need. So pretend like you went inside of a room, and inside of this room with all these furniture and things, you were searching for a key. Because you need to go in another room and open up a door to get to it. So don't skip rooms, because if you skip rooms, you won't find the key. And when you get to the final room, you won't be able to sustain it because you never got all these keys you needed to, you need to pick up intangibles. You need to learn things about yourself. All chapters are necessary, but some chapters are very necessary because it's preparing you for the thing you asked for. If you want to be something, you have to go through something, and that's a lot of people don't want to go through anything.
No, they want to skip.
Huh?
They want to skip the steps.
Yeah, they want to microwave success, but you can't. If you want to be, literally, it's universal law. In order for fucking water to become ice, it has to go through the freezer. In order for fruit, this fertilizer got to go through the ground. You have to go through something to be something. And we want to skip that process. But the bigger the thing, the more grandiose the thing you want to be, the bigger that receipt for the pain. You're going to have a big bill. You know, people say they pay dues. That's what they mean. You're going to take some losses. You're going to suffer some isolation. You're going to lose some friends. You're going to lose some sleep. You're going to lose some money. You're going to pay for that dream. And a lot of people don't want to pay for the dream. And we live in a time right now with all this fake ass manifestation talk. Everybody talking about they manifesting. You ain't doing shit but wasting pieces of papers and pens. For real, you're not doing shit. That shit, you're not. No, you're not, bro. No, you're fucking not. Imagine if you wanted to cook a Thanksgiving dinner. The first thing you're going to do is name all the things you want for this dinner, and you're going to write it down. Bop, 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 bop. This is all I want for Thanksgiving. The second thing you're going to do is go to your cabinet in the kitchen and see what all you missing. Boop, 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 missing this, missing that. The third thing you're going to do is go to the grocery store, go from aisle to aisle, putting everything in your basket. That's how you manifest. Some of y'all just stop at the list. And I want turkey. Ooh, and I want greens. And I want the house. And I want this. I want that. All right. But just like making down that list for Thanksgiving, you're supposed to go to your cabinet and see what you're missing. You haven't even searched the inside of you and seen what intangibles is missing. Because this person is different from the person you are. Whatever on this paper, because if you was that person, you would have it. So you missing the necessary intangibles to have this. Just like making a grocery list. And then you still, like I said, you stop at writing shit down. Because even after you search your cabinets and see what you're missing, you got to navigate your way to the goddamn grocery store. You got to get off your ass and go get it. You ain't got off your ass and did nothing. You scrolling on Instagram, looking at my page and shit.
And then you gotta come home and make the shit.
But wait, pause. The biggest step we forgot. We forgot, and this is a step this is why I say you just wasted pens and papers. And I'm gonna have y'all say what the biggest step, the final step is. So we found out what we wanted, the big old meal. We wrote it down, everything I want. Then we went to our cabinets to see what we was missing. Then we went to the grocery store, see, from aisle to aisle. From chapter to chapter, putting everything we want in that basket. What's the final step? You got to pay for it.
Yeah, you got to pay. You got to pay.
Y'all
you
motherfuckers don't want to pay for y'all dream. Because sometimes paying for your dream means you won't have a girlfriend for 7 years or a boyfriend or get married right. You don't want to pay for your fucking dream. That's why you don't have, no, you're not manifesting. It's just shit sound fly. And that shit, it kind of irritates me because it's too much cap in your caption. Because if you was really living like that, how come we can't see it? And everybody's philosophical. Everybody a fucking Confucius. I'm not Confucius, but here's the thing. Before you go put that fly-ass caption on your picture. Because it's too much cap in the caption.
There's a lot of capping in the captions.
So my thing is this, and there's a lot of opinions. Your life in its totality is proof of concept.
It's true.
Your life is proof of, so if you that motherfucking enlightened and your life should be proof of concept, because either you don't live what you're saying or you don't actually do it. Because your life is proof of concept. That's why I never argue with people who aren't my equal, who haven't accomplished, came as far. I'm not what I look like arguing my reality to your hypothetical.
Ooh, that's a bar. That's a fact.
That's real talk from the sidewalk.
Yeah.
What I look like arguing my reality from your hypothetical. You have no social proof of what you're saying. It just sounds good. That shit just sounds good. You get what I'm saying? So again, you can have all this enlightening shit, but your life is proof of concept. Your life is proof of concept. So can we see the thing that you're preaching prevalent in your life? Because if it's absent, then you, my friend, are what we call, the old school terminology, a hypocrite. In the new school terminology, well, that ain't even new school because we was using this word when I was like, oh, this word is back in high school, cap.
Oh, that's from back in the day?
Yeah, we was using that word in 1994, 93. I was like, oh, it's back. Nothing is new. I remember my mama used to say that, and I didn't really understand, but nothing is. None of this shit.
It was recycled.
Yeah, it's all, but cap. Y'all capping. And you get so good at capping that fake it till you make it. You get so good at faking it, you forget to make it. But it take just as much energy it is to make it as it do to fake it.
Right, and you just wasting the energy on shit that don't matter. Just talking instead of doing. I think even for me, like even when I get caught up in get in my own way, I have to remind myself that you are proof of the concept, bitch. You're doing it, ho.
Absolutely.
Even when I get caught in my own way and I'm struggling or I feel like I'm backstepping or my mindset is not actually, I have to remind myself, like, bitch, you are that bitch. This is what you're doing. Like, you are this, you have this, you are doing this. Like, bitch, you own property in a foreign country. You own a successful business.
You wrote a book.
You wrote a book, bitch, And I'm like, oh yeah.
And you killing it at motherhood.
And I'm killing it at motherhood.
What's up, Luna?
What's up? Right? And it's crazy because like sometimes I'll have conversations with people and I'm like we talked about earlier, like tapping out because you're not talking about shit and I feel bad. But sometimes it's just like, there's a difference between like looking down at people because that's never never the fact. But also, if you're not on the level that I'm at, I don't have the energy for this conversation. Everybody is not on the same level as you in places, and because a lot of people are just talking, and you could talk a lot, but like I'm a big like, let me see the proof of the concept, bitch. Right. Like, I don't want to do a lot of talking. I want to see. And I'm here for dreams and and I tell Erica this all the time. We do this a lot. We are very powerful. Our spells are very powerful. Our words are very powerful. And like you said, you're sitting in our manifestation. Yeah. And so often I tell Erica, I'm like, I have an idea, but I'm just going to chill on telling you right now because we don't have the time. Like, because I know as soon as we speak some shit, as soon as we speak it, it's on its way.
Right.
And so if we don't have it in the schedule today, I'm not going to speak it. You know what I mean? But I really,
well, it's also on the way because we're willing to pay the price.
And even
at every corner, at every time, like, okay, you have an idea, bitch. Okay, how are we gonna make it happen? Let's do it.
And sometimes I think people, you may be listening, you might think like the price is actually monetary, like a monetary price, and sometimes it is. Obviously, everything take costs to be invested in, and you have to make money to put back into your business. However, like we've been doing this shit for 5 years. For a strong 3 of those years, we didn't make any money, but we put in so much time and energy and effort into what we knew was on its way. And when I say like time and energy and effort, like it's beautiful now. We could look back and like talk about it, but like I'm saying like hours and hours of being in the dining room while our kids are in the other room, staying up late, like just pushing to make some shit happen, even when financially it wasn't existing, but we had an idea and nothing and nobody could tell us shit. Not our mom was like, that's maybe not a good idea. We had friends who were like, that's kind of too much. There was so much criticism and so much doubt, but our clarity in what we were doing and what we've been doing has been so clear that nothing stopped us. Even the lack of financial gain in a 3-year period never stopped us from putting in the work. And even if we couldn't immediately see the results, we fucking knew it was on the way. And I'm so grateful that we believed in our vision that much, and I found a friend that was as delusional as I was, but it was like delusionally real. And like when I think back on those days, the amount of fucking veggie tacos, the amount of dinners we cooked together, the amount of like just long ass nights we sat up in the dining room to make this shit happen every fucking week on iPhones, in the dining room, DMing people, just alone, just like being honest with each other. And a lot of the process was obviously putting in the energy, but also just, I think the beautiful thing about this brand and this business is a lot of it has been looking in the cabinets and seeing what wasn't there and saying like, damn, Erica, like, this is not who I want to be. And these are the decisions that I've made. And not just Erica. Hey, thousands of people I never met in my fucking life. Let me tell you where I'm empty. You know what I mean? Right. But taking inventory out loud and taking accountability out loud and then shifting, making change and saying, this is how I'm going to shift what I've been doing. And even if it takes a really long time, and I'm going to continue to do that. And I think people really underestimate that part. The time, the effort, and like what the cost of making your dream really come true, and just betting on yourself and really quieting the noise outside and the criticism and the critiques. And for people who, I have a lot of successful friends. Your mom's very successful. a lot of people couldn't see the vision is because you could be successful, but you're not successful doing what the fuck we're doing. So you could never see the vision. Of course you don't understand.
Right, but they not supposed to.
Right.
Do you wear eyeglasses?
Now I
do.
do.
You do?
I do.
Where are
If
my
I picked
glasses?
if I picked up your eyeglasses and put them on, they would hurt my eyes. I wouldn't be able to see because they make my eyeglasses.
Right.
Your vision is yours. Like I say, your calling is yours, and it wasn't a conference call.
It was not a conference.
It was for you. So you don't. That's why I try to tell people it's unwise to be dependent on your family, friends, or we talked about that at the top of the show, your mother, anybody, because not all the time are they not going to get it, and sometimes they're going to push their own fears and trepidations off on you because you might be the exception and not the rule. I walk in every situation and be like, yo, I'm the anomaly. I'm the anomaly. So you got to let your faith be bigger than your fears and just have the fucking have the temerity to believe you can do anything you want to be. I had the temerity. I didn't care that I had no guidance. I didn't care, I was a convict. I didn't care I grew up poor. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? I'm going to still do this fucking miraculous ass shit. You got to have the temerity. And temerity is even heavier than audacity. Don't have the audacity. Have the temerity to feel like you can succeed no matter what your circumstances is. And if you do that and align yourself with your purpose, I kid you not, everything you want gonna come tap you on the shoulders. You ain't even got to beg, lie, suck, fuck, or steal for it. It's gonna come just tap you on the shoulder.
That's a fucking fact. That shit will come to you. And it did. All the shit came to us. Everything we asked for came to us. Like we would speak it and wait a little bit, and they were like, "Hey, I'm here. What's up? Oh, you want to write a book? Hey, bitch, it's right here." Like so. Like that is a fact. And I think once we started to realize that we were the power, like you said, like God said, I'm gonna make you in my image. He spoke and that should happen. Like people miss that part of the Christianity. They're so busy judging each other and Bible thumping that they forget like you are the replica of that power.
Right.
Use that shit.
Right.
And, sometimes you're so busy praying, wishing upon a star, hoping, going to church, whatever you do, because that's cool too. But like, you are the piece.
Yo, black people crazy. And
I know.
Not just black people, but
a lot of people.
Black people think they can replace hard work with prayer. I swear, for real, they think they can. Yes, pray. But if prayer could, nobody pray better than your grandma. If prayer could do, your grandma wouldn't have died broke, motherfucker. And I ain't disrespecting nobody, but think of it, like nobody pray better than her. If it was only prayer, you can't replace, even in the Bible it say faith without works is dead. You can't replace hard work with prayer. Y'all want to throw a fucking seed in the dirt and just hope it grow. Some people are background actors in a movie about their own life. You supposed to be the star. Even in my fitness business, I got people coming in there and don't want to make a contribution to their own transformation.
You're like, I'm not about to do it. I'm not a surgeon, bitch.
I can't do it. I can't jump in your body and have you. It's for you. But people like that, I'll be like, they probably won't get very far in life. Seriously, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can't come to this gym and focus long enough to get your body together, something you're doing for you, I know you're not probably going to stick with a business long enough until it turn a corner and make money because it take the same fucking muscle. It take the same muscle to thug it out. How you do one thing is how you do everything. You might not notice it. You ain't just late here. You late everywhere. You just ain't know how you do one thing, how you do everything. It's the same. It takes the same muscle, the same set of intangibles. You get what I'm saying? But a lot of people want to skip the work. You got to put in work. You got to suffer. I learned that the part that I wish would have been, the people would have talked about most is how you fail your way to success. I always say that now that I'm coming into my own version of success, I have realized like I failed a lot to get here, and failure is a part of the process. And I remember at one chapter in my life, I was scared to do a lot of things because I was scared to fail. but I didn't hear a lot of messages telling me like, oh, it's a part of failure. So I'm telling y'all, you fail your way to success, man. You can't learn how to drive a parked car. You got to turn the car on and start hitting some corners. You fail your way there. So if you understand that, a lot of people don't start things because they don't want to be seen starting from the bottom. I start all kind of shit. I started my own podcast.
Shout out to, I saw your merch. I was like, you got merch already?
Yeah. We rolling. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold. It's called the Unqualified as Fuck podcast because we are unqualified as fuck because God would take the unqualified and put them in places that the qualified can't even get to. So now what? You know what I'm saying?
I was just having this conversation with my daughter yesterday because she's very highly competitive. And, you know, I was a highly competitive child as well, but she be cheating. She be like trying to cut corners and shit. And
Sound like she's smart.
Not she be cheating.
She's not like, because cheating is taught in school that it's bad.
well, but
If you look at somebody's paper and do that. But in the real world, if I hire somebody else to do my work, I'm smart.
That's true.
Like she's using her innately, and I watch Brixton do this, but tell your story.
But
It's
it's more so like it's okay, yes, that, but also like even when she loses, she'll somehow flip it to make to like that she won. And
that's smart. She always want to feel like a winner. Nobody's gonna make me feel like a loser.
No,
Good job. Keep going.
No,
She's
but
like,
I was also telling her that it's okay to fail because that's how you become better. Like you have to fail in order for the successes to feel better. In order to be the best, you have to fail because you can't. You have to have the opposite.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know how many times I failed, Irie? I was like, I'm just as competitive as you. I don't like to lose ever. That's one thing. You would never call me a motherfucking loser. Okay. And that's why I used to cry. I told her, like, I used to cry every time I would lose. Like everyone knew, like, oh shit, Eric, here she goes. She about to cry again, you know? But the loss is what made me such a winner. I had to lose in order to, like, you can't be saddened by the loss. In fact, you have to be motivated by the loss because you don't ever want to feel that way again.
Right.
I mean, she's 8, so she probably was like,
Right,
bitch, I still want. You know?
I have non-conventional ways of doing things, though, because the world is a new world. I remember my oldest daughter, who's 22 now, she was in the 9th grade or 8th grade at the time, and she had a D on her report card. She was like, Dad, are you mad? But my daughters were always honor students. Like, dude, but she was like, Dad, are you mad? Yeah, she was in the 9th grade. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm mad. I was like, no, she had an F. And now you mad? I said, hell yeah, I'm mad. I said an F. I said, don't ever bring home another F. First of all, she was in the 9th or 10th grade, so she's close to the real world. So this is finna get real for you. I got to prepare you for real. So I told her, hell yeah, I'm mad. Don't ever bring home another F. Don't ever fucking do that shit again. I don't give a fuck if you got to cheat. You could have took somebody's paper, erased their name, and put your name on the top. You could have paired up with somebody, act like you was a friend, and had them help you.
Not act like you're.
I don't give a fuck because in the real, this is what I told her. In the real world, F mean you couldn't figure it out. In the real world, when you can't figure it out, you got a 3-day eviction notice, motherfucker. In the real world, when you can't figure it out, you lose your job because you was late too many times getting to work. You have to start using your brain. I don't care if you cheat, just don't get caught. Because if you get caught, then you're in trouble. She looked perplexed. I said, because there's a right way to do wrong, baby. There's a right way to do wrong. And if y'all don't know it, you lost because the rest of the world, the people that's already up in that higher echelon, they're using a different playbook. And I'm going to stop there so I can keep living, but they won't get me. But they're using a different playbook. But there's a right way to do wrong. And I wanted my daughter to be prepared. Don't try to walk that straight line. I want you to bend the rules to where they work for you because I bend the rules to what work for me. I wasn't put here to let somebody else make a bunch of rules for me and I'm born. And here are all the rules for you. Fuck you. I'll do what works for me. I'll take the consequences or evade them, but I'm going to do what work for me. But I'm not going to let no other man be the ruler over my life. I don't like this rule. It didn't work for me. I don't want to do it this way. College might don't work. This don't work for me. I'm not going to do it this way because 2 + 2 is 4, but so is 3 + 1. It's more than one way to get to 4. So it's more than one way to get to your happiness. And you can't do it that way. So you have to find what works for you. You get what I'm saying? Without infringing on someone else's happiness or impeding someone else's progress. I have to say that, but they dragged me on the internet.
Well, I like that you added that. You could get to the goal many ways
without being
hurting
malevolent.
others.
You don't have to be malevolent or acrimonious in order to do it.
I have a question. As you've evolved as a man and you know, in your, like, your work, when you change your mindset, did that also play a part in changing your mindset and like how you showed up as a husband, a boyfriend,
Absolutely.
a father? Like I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but like you were talking about like how you do grandiose things for your wife because you promised her things and now you're showing up in the way that in what you promised. You're giving her the things that, you know.
He does. If you go follow Six Pack on the internet
I mean,
and
you
you
follow
look on
him.
his Instagrams, you will see the beautiful
Thank you.
experiences that he
Thank you.
curates for his wife.
I wanted
okay,
you to
let me
finish
find
your question, but I'm gonna say this because it's
That was a
important.
question, yeah.
But it's because it's important for men and women alike to hear this. The best thing I ever gave my wife was peace of mind and consistency. If you need money to get her, she ain't the one, homie. Little bro, if you need money to get her, she ain't the one, little bro. And that's not demonizing and weaponizing women, and it's all about money. But if you need money, if that is the absolute driving force to her affection and infatuation for you, she ain't the one. You get what I'm saying? So out of all the because she can have all these grandiose things and be miserable, and then it ain't worth it.
Right, you did
You know
all
what I
these
mean?
things.
Yeah, so that's fine, but I want to amplify and highlight that the most important thing I gave her was peace of mind and consistency. Like, she's very peace. Women just want a place they could be safe and tap into that feminine energy. You can't have her out here hustling for the both of y'all, figuring shit out for the both of y'all in masculine energy and then want a button to switch and want her to turn around and be feminine. You put her in that masculine energy and now you mad. You get what I'm saying? So for me, the best thing I ever gave her was peace of mind. She could take her hand off this. Her hand ain't been on the steering wheel. And a lot matter of fact, not only is her hand not on the steering wheel, her seat reclined. She ain't even looking. Yeah. And so she just get to recline in her femininity, which allows me to recline in my masculinity.
Do you hear this, men? Do you hear this? This is a life hack. You don't listen. I know we live in a time where women have also perpetuated this idea that the nigga got to have the bag, right? If he can't do this, this, and that. But I think even those women have stepped into this bad bitch, I need this type of man era because they have lacked that. They have lacked consistency. They have lacked. What was the other thing? Peace.
Yeah,
And so they say
they got a bad bitch. They flying around the world, but they crying. Go ahead.
So they say, well, fuck the peace. You can't give me peace. You can't give me consistency, nigga. You better give me some money. Give me some money then, because that's what you said you're good for, right? The man is the provider, right? Well, provide for me then, because you can't give me any of these other things.
Right. If you give me a headache, you might as well pay.
And I'm not saying that is not the solution.
It's
but
not.
But I think that
try to supplement
that is
it.
why it is graduated to this, because that feels good. That bag feels good for right now.
Well, yeah, money can make you happy, but it can't keep you happy. And one thing I learned on my way up, and I'm still ascending, and I'm finna be real. I'm gonna be so real with y'all that a lot of people gonna be mad, and some of y'all ain't gonna understand what I'm about to say. But I'm being honest, and no, I don't have $50 trillion yet. I desire to have $50 trillion because that means I can help a lot of people. But from where I'm at, what I've learned, from where I was to where I'm at, here's one thing I learned. I want you to hold on. I hope it resonates. There's really not that many things to spend money on. You think you need all this money, but after you hit a certain amount of millions, it all becomes the same, and it starts to become banal, and it will drain the fun out of life. Elon Musk tweeted something, and everybody, I think only very few people understood like what he said, like what it really meant. He said the worst thing that can happen is being able to buy anything you want. And living forever. He said living forever and being able to buy anything you want is a curse. And a lot of people didn't really understand it. But I get it because I have a different relationship with the universe. And being able to buy anything you want takes the spice out of life. And life is supposed to be a roller coaster up and down. You go to a hospital and you hook up to the machine, it's going like this.
You have nothing to strive for.
The minute life does this, you in a hospital when you do this, you flatline.
Flatline. You dead.
So life is supposed to have peaks and valleys. But if you could buy anything you want, nothing is out your. It take the peaks and valleys.
What is there to strive for?
So what I'm trying to tell y'all, all that money don't mean nothing. It's people that can keep you happy. Money make you happy, yeah, it can make, but it can't keep you happy. Because when everybody at one point, hopefully listen, has had a new car. And when you got that new car, you're like, ooh, I'm gonna keep it clean, I'm gonna wash it. After a year, you ain't washed that car because it don't keep you happy. You like, what's my next car? Because things can't keep you happy. only the love of people and healthy relationships can sustain that happiness. So women, yeah, if he like, yo, he ain't giving me this, he ain't giving me that, I want to supplement it for money. That's cool, but just understand money is a cherry on top. If you bring me a birth, so you can have a cake and icing without the cherry, but a cherry and whipped cream ain't no good without the cake. That's just a cherry on top. And the cake represents the commitment, the peace, the honesty, the safety. These women don't feel safe. The cherry on top is the tangible things. Like, all right, we got a nice house. But what having this without that, because no matter how big your house is, you can only sleep in one room at a time. And if you and that motherfucker crying and can't do nothing, it's like a luxury prison. That's a luxury jail cell. No one envies you, or the right people that's tapped into the universe don't envy that. They don't envy that. So the best thing I gave her was peace of mind. You know what I mean? Just do what you say you're going to do, fellas, in a timely fashion, because women, they might not say nothing, but they remember what everything you said you was going to do. And if she's in her divinity, she ain't going to even beat you over the head with it, but she took a note. Like, all right, that's 20 things he said he was going to do.
Especially Cancer. She a Cancer. She ain't forgetting shit.
Yeah. So when she is a little reluctant about your dream, is because she remember you started many things and finished nothing. Some of y'all don't have a problem with starting things. Starting ain't your problem, it's finishing. But your lady remembers all that, so she's just taking notes and holding you accountable for what you showed her. What I've learned, because I've been on both sides. I was a fuck boy. I've been on both sides of this thing. And what I learned, first a woman would treat you how she wants to be treated. And then she'll start treating you like you treat her.
When you're not taking notes. You're like,
yeah, she's like, okay, this is what we doing? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, let me.
So we going all day without texting. Now it's my turn.
No problem.
Now it's my turn.
Oh, you with your homeboys? Me too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm with my homeboys too.
Right,
yeah.
but
Yeah, all five of them.
They just start off like that. So you be a true leader, fellas. And a leader ain't somebody with a bravado that can raise their voice and threaten to break TVs and become physically and verbally abusive. No, a leader is someone that can erect the necessary intangibles out of everyone that's under their tutelage to extract those intangibles to commit said goal and execute whatever the goal is. That's a leader. You do it first. She'll take notice. You do it consistently. She'll take notes. You do it consistently and you do it first over a long period of time. Then she'll take action with you. But you do it first. Show her. Don't tell her. Because women hate when you try to micromanage them. It's annoying when you ain't doing your shit and want to get on them about what they ain't doing and they know you not. It irks their soul. It's like, how could you dare even bring that up? You know what I mean? So you're not being slick. You're not being sly. I haven't met a woman that I'm smarter than. Y'all just inherent. Y'all are extraterrestrial.
It's a fact. We bring life. So
yeah, exactly. You bring life.
We're connected to the source. Yeah,
you bring life. You bring a soul from somewhere else. Here, you're extraterrestrial.
We're
and
the
a woman
portals.
you have a divine. Like y'all could just be in a shower and just be like, this nigga cheating.
It's a fact. I'm like, you know
the
what?
left drawer, right up under the Nike socks, to the literally a woman just be like,
It will take you right
just
to the
know
point.
and take you right to it. So instead of having her using her divinity against you to fight you all day long, work together. And now she's aiming her divinity at the world to move mountains for you. Because when me and my wife she was my wife at the time, at odds, we accomplished nothing. Because all her supernatural power, she using it to this and that. But when I
put her at peace,
now she can use her powers for me.
Not to
She
try to sniff you out.
Sniff me out to do
Right.
that. She using them in the right place because it's supposed to be you and your boo against the world. And ain't nothing y'all can do. When I see a man that has been with the same woman for 5 years or better, and he's living in lack and limitation, I know he's a problem. Because you got a secret weapon sitting right there. She can't be the problem. Because if you was doing her right, you could tell a woman, like, you could give a woman, babe, here's my dream. I want to blah, 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 blah. And
one moment. Let me get your media kit.
yeah,
Let me get your press kit.
2 days later, she'll be like, here go $3,000. You like, where you get that from?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. She is ready to get by. So if I see a man that's been with a woman for a long period of time and he's living in lack and limitation, I'm like, nigga, you have to be the problem because she's magical.
You're using each other wrong. You're using your divinity on the wrong shit.
Yeah, but
And you are using her, so she's not using her divinity on the right shit.
but
So
usually
both
the
both
man-
parties
the
are
man-
confused.
it's the man's job to set the tone. I'm a little old school in that way, and I know a lot of people are like, nah, but that's cool. Whatever worked for you, try to work it. But nah, bro, look, let me tell you, a lot of shit was the shit that was here before you got here. You can't try to change that shit. That's universal law. Everything on earth has an equal opposite: up, down, left, right, short, tall, hot, cold. You can't now come in here and rearrange. Well, you could try to rearrange it, but don't be surprised if it don't go right.
I agree. I agree men set the tone. And I think that sometimes women are trying to you trying to make a man do a thing. And even even when I was single and not in a relationship, one thing about me is I have never really been pressed to be in a relationship. Maybe I would want one, or I would want companionship, or just be tired of the streets because niggas are slow. But one thing is not one thing I've always said is I'm not about to be the bitch hey, what are we doing here? Because that's the man's job. If you don't see that I am the prize and that there's value in us being an item or being in a relationship, I'm not going to be the one to be hey, I think that we should be together, because you don't get it. So I don't need, I've always said that. I think it's the man's job to see what's important, and then set the tone and say, hey, I want you and we should do this together. And if you say that and you're committed to it, then that's what I expect if I agree. But I've never been the type of bitch to be God, I'm going to drop some hints. I'll be catch you next week, nigga. I got some other niggas whose turn is coming up, because I don't think I've never thought it was my job as the woman to be hey, we should do this together. Right. If you suggest this, even in my relationship now, he suggested a lot of times, and I was kind of being scared in ways, because I haven't really been a committed person. But once he made it clear that that's what needed to happen, and then I committed, that's what it's been, period. Boom. We've always together. Once I came around and made this agreement, we agreed to walk in this direction together. Mm-hmm. And I value that in my man, because he made it clear he wanted me, and that made it easy for me to then say, okay. I've never understood about women, or I don't get it. I think that we are the magical ones, the magical beings, and men are too, but for the most part, they set the tone, and then we follow suit. There's a leader, and there's, it goes both ways in many ways. But
yeah, we magical, and so I think, especially this era, women are trying so hard to prove they can do everything a man can do, that they missing the beauty of a woman is that she could do everything a man can't do. You're divorcing yourself from your own visceral essence, trying to prove you could do what these men could do.
And I know I could do it. I'm a woman. I could take care of the woman. I could take care of home. But do I want to?
There's some things you could do that a man, but there's some things you cannot do, because we are not all created equal, and that's bullshit. People want to say that and they promote that. That's cool. And I'm going to say it because I'm not scared of the internet.
But you can
cancel me,
survive.
But you can't cancel the truth.
You can live, but are you living in your truest essence by doing it all? No.
Yeah, but men wasn't supposed to do it all. We're not supposed. We are paired for a reason.
We're supposed to use each other.
Yes.
For the good.
As a partner. Yeah, but using is a good thing. Misusing is a bad thing. People conflate those two. It's okay. Matter of fact, if I can't use you, that means you're useless. And what I'm going to do with somebody that's useless?
What are we going to do together? But looking dumb at each other. We need to be able to.
Misusing is okay, but misusing is not okay. But using people is good. It's okay. You're supposed to. So where my weaknesses are, that's where you supposed to be strong at and come cover me. Matter of fact, I think when you choosing a mate, the more you know yourself, the better mate you're going to choose, because you're going to choose what you need long term and not what you want right in this moment. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because the best teams is the teams that cover each other's weaknesses.
Yeah, and where there's lack, I know that you got me.
Right.
But this is what you're good at. This is not what I'm good at. Yeah.
You asked me earlier off camera, you was like, who gets the final say in the house? I was like, ish. I was like, it depends on the category. The things that she well versed at, she get the final say because she's well versed in it. I told you that off camera.
Right.
And the things I'm well versed at, I get the final say. The things I'm well versed at, we're equal. She's not insubordinate to me, and I don't have to we don't have to go over that. That's already covered. We never have to talk about that. She knows I'm the head. I am the head, no question. But she's the neck, and the neck holds the head up and can turn the head in any direction. She does not want to be the head. Mm. She wants to be what she is and be the best at what she is. I don't want to play her position. I want to play mine, because her position come with duties and responsibilities that only she can do, and there's a lot of my duties, responsibilities that only I can do.
And they complement each other.
Yeah,
and that's
when
why
they're
it
in
works.
harmony, when you guys are in harmony, you don't have to be the exact same. When you go to a concert or a band, the guitar is playing one melody, the saxophone might be on a different melody, but they're in harmony, so it sounds good. So you and your partner don't got to be the same. Y'all just have to be in harmony to complement one another and understand positioning. And our relationship work, y'all could do what y'all want out there, because I don't want her position and she don't want mine. I'll cultivate and help her in her position and what she want to do, and she'll do the same for me for the greater good of the team. We're not in competition, and we're not trying to be each other's role. I don't want that. Like, I can't do a lot of things that she could do. I don't even want to do them. My wife don't want to change a tire. When it was just raining like crazy, her tire was on flat. She had to go to work the next day because she worked from home too. And I'm like, it would be storming, and you would catch a flat tire and have to go to work tomorrow morning, and it's 5 o'clock. So I'm literally out in the storm. That's when it was storming hard, changing her tire. And she was in her office looking at me out the window.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm so glad I'm the neck.
So glad I love being
Because I looked up it's raining and it's slipping around. You like,
Look at my head doing what he's supposed to do.
right. And I can't put my knee on the ground because it's wet. So I can't even kneel down. I kind of got to hover and my hand's slipping. And I'm like, damn. And I looked up in the window and she's just like eating and looking. And I was just like,
with the baby.
I was like, must be nice. But she'll say that when I'm chilling, just got my feet up and all the clothes is separated in piles and I'm just the beep, beep, beep. Shit done finished washing. I ain't gonna get up and stop it. She gonna get up and stop it. So she looking like, must be nice. We all have our responsibilities and duties as ordained in our relationship. So find out what worked for you in your relationship and work that. If tradition don't work for you, don't do it. I don't believe in doing stuff that are trying to follow a tradition that don't work for you is like being bullied by dead people.
Who are these niggas anyway?
Yeah, like who set this tone?
I don't know that
who
nigga.
Set this tone? Yeah, like, well, how you gonna let dead people coerce you?
That's a
like
fact.
if it don't work for you, do what works. So me and my wife,
That shit is old.
do what works for
Not
us.
being bullied by dead people.
It's a fact. You being bullied by some niggas
Yeah,
that don't even
no,
exist.
like that don't work for you.
Our
Why would you
forefathers said, I don't know them.
I don't know them. Four fathers, only had one father. Where the other three niggas
I
come
barely
from?
know
Four
Luke,
fathers.
James, Mark, John, 1,
Yeah, I
2.
only got one father. Them other three niggas don't count. But yeah, so in all seriousness, I was being a little facetious there. But in all seriousness, just find what worked for you and your partner and work that shit. Respect each other's roles. Don't disrespect each other's roles. Like what you doing ain't hard, and what you doing, yes, it's hard. It's parts of that you don't know about because you're not a man or you're not a woman. The opposite sex, like your man can't even begin to describe what it's like to go out in this world as a man, get beat up all day and come home and have to explain why certain things ain't hitting. That's hard. And a woman can't explain what it feels like to feel like she might don't have a voice and want to do things but feel like we both, it's hard for both of us. So just love on your mate, understand your mate, respect your mate's role, and work together, and then you could be in harmony. So I'm speaking to y'all, like I say, my life is proof of concept. I've been with the same woman 17 years, and we have a happy, healthy, fruitful relationship. It's important that I emphasize that, because just because you've been somewhere for a long time don't mean you happy. Niggas go to jail for 10 years don't mean they happy. So you could be somewhere for a long time but don't mean you happy. We happy, healthy, and fruitful. You could be with somebody for a long time and y'all still ain't got no businesses. Y'all still like, what kind of how y'all want a basic, boring, and banal relationship?
That's not productive. You're not.
Get together 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years later, y'all should own some properties. Y'all should get it popping. Because how you supposed to be smart and this magical person, and then he's supposed to be smart and this magic. So how do two smart and magical people get together and do nothing?
Yeah.
That's
somebody lying.
Something's wrong. Somebody is not being what they're supposed to be.
If you're listening right now, you feel triggered, good.
Well, this brings us to the part of the show where we read the tarot card that Mr. Six pulled. It's the Magician, which seems appropriate, which all of our tarot cards always go with the episode. And I'm going to tell you what it means, my friend. It means manifestation, resourcefulness, power, inspired action. If this ain't you,
I appreciate it.
I don't know who is. You are the magician. You got tattoos? You might need this tattoo.
Let me see. Can I see the card?
As a master manifester, the magician brings you the tools, resources, and energy you need to make your dreams come true. Seriously, everything you need right now is at your fingertips. You have the spiritual fire, physical earth, mental air, and emotional water resources to manifest your desires. The elements were in parentheses. And when you combine them with the energy of the spiritual and earthly realms, you'll become a manifestation powerhouse. The key is to bring these tools together synergistically so that the impact of what you create is greater than the separate parts. This is alchemy at its best. Now is the perfect time to move forward in an idea that you recently conceived. Shout out to Unqualified as Fuck podcast.
Me in the building.
The skills, knowledge, and capabilities you have gathered along your life path have led you to where you are now. And wherever whether or not you know it, you are ready to turn your ideas into reality. In your quest to manifest your goals, you must establish a clear vision of what you will create and why before you act. It is not enough to be motivated by ego, money, status, or fame. You need to have a soul connection to your goals and intentions. You are a powerful, creative being, and that is your opportunity to bring your higher self in alignment with your day-to-day actions to create the future you want. And let me tell you, when he picked this card, he was like on the phone. He was like, just picked it. So that's how you know that when the stars are aligned, the stars are aligned. And when you're in the good media house with the good moms, the stars are always aligned.
I receive, which camera's on? So
this one right there, that one.
Right there. Boom, 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 boom. Where's that? I received that. We talked earlier on the segment about how words have power. So I just want to acknowledge to the universe, I receive every bit of what you just said. I welcome it expeditiously. Thank you.
Thank you. We are so grateful that you came to hang out with us today. We knew it was coming. We've been talking about this since October that you came on the show. So I'm grateful we make this happen and find Zaddy June. Tell the people where they can find you.
Wait. Give a Hori? Well, y'all, let me just tell you, you don't want to miss this Hori from 6. So if you want to hear this mommy-daughter horror story for real, make sure you go check us out on Patreon. That's patreon.com/goodmomsbadchoices. This might be like a level 10.
This is a level 10
horror story for real.
This
like
is horror
with an H
and also
and W.
And W.
Oh, this is double entendre.
This is like an ultimate. I can't. This is a good. This is a good one for the good moms.
Yeah. So make sure you go ahead.
A good mom. Though?
She was a terrible mother.
Go ahead and check out.
Oh, that's just a bad choice.
That is
Which one was it?
That's a bad woman.
Bad choice.
That's a bad woman.
Bad mom. Bad
She's
choice.
not a good person.
So make sure you tap in with us on Patreon. 6, where can our people find you?
You can find my fitness page at Six Pack City. That's the number 6 PACKCITY. That's for my fitness page, and then you find our podcast page at the UAF Podcast. The UAF Podcast. Tap in.
Dope. Well, we'll make sure to link all that in this episode description. Make sure you go rate and review this episode on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, bitches. Make sure you go check out the retreat. The Good Vibe Retreat is coming up in Sayulita, Mexico on July 5th, July 12th. Check out our cute ass merch. It's popping. We restock all the time. You can follow me at Watch Erica.
And me at Mila with an H_map with 2 P's.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Solo puedo recordar la